Gladys took 2/3 of a number, subtracted 2, multiplied by 8, and got 16. What was the original number? Let's go. We are converting this weird thing that Gladys did to a number for some reason. Who knows why? You never know what Gladys is up to. We're trying to convert this thing into an algebra problem. And so we're gonna have to do that very patiently, one step at a time. I'm gonna walk you through that. For starters, Gladys has this number that she started with. We don't know this number, so I'm gonna call that number X. And what I know is that Gladys took 2/3 of that number. Now, why did she do that? Who knows? Again, what's this girl up to? 2/3 of a number, she takes 2/3 of that number. When you think of the word of in most math problems, 2/3 of a number in this case, you want to think of multiplication. So what that implies is 2/3 times that unknown number, X. So she takes 2/3 of that number. We've now used that little bit. Then she subtracted 2. Well, let's do that in green. She subtracted 2. You know what that means. That means -2. Well, then she multiplied that by 8. So she multiplied it by 8. Here we go. So multiplied it by 8. She takes all of that and she multiplies it by 8. Okay, and when she does all of that, she gets 16. So if I convert all of that word nonsense into algebra, this is what I've got. She takes a number. She takes 2/3 of that number. She subtracts by 2. She multiplies it by 8, and that gives her 16. And our job is to figure out, hey, what was the original number that Gladys used to do that? Okay, if we want to get the value of X, we've got to peel away all these other numbers one number at a time. And what I mean is here, we're taking this whole thing and we're multiplying it by 8 and getting 16. So the first thing that I want to do to get back to my original number X is I want to get rid of this times 8 that we did. And since I multiplied by 8 here, what I should do is I should divide both sides of this equation by 8, because that'll get rid of the multiplying. I multiplied by 8, so the opposite of that is dividing. So if I divide by 8, the times 8 and the divided by 8 go away. So it's gone on the left side. That was a good move. And on the right side, I've got 16 divided by 8. Well, that's 2. Okay, so let's rewrite what we have now. I'll go back to my colors so we can kind of still think about this one step at a time. We've got 2/3 of X minus 2, and that's equal to 2. Okay, so we peeled away that 8. We got rid of that purple step of the problem here. Well, we still got to get back to X. We're not there yet. How do we get rid of the next thing? Well, the next thing I see is I'm doing this thing -2 and getting 2 as an answer. So how can I get rid of that -2? Well, the opposite of it would be to add 2 to the left side, and I should add 2 to the right side as well to keep this whole thing balanced. -2 plus 2, those go away. That's why we did it. And on the right side, we've got 2 plus 2, which is equal to 4. So on the right side, we're now down to 4, and we're done with the green step. So we've still got 2/3 of X left on the left side. 2/3 of X equals 4. Okay, well, we're getting there. Now we've got 2/3 times X equals 4. How do we get rid of that 2/3? Now, since it's multiplying onto the X, we want to divide it away. But remember what happens when I divide by a fraction? That's the same thing as doing what? When I divide by a fraction, that's the same thing as multiplying by its reciprocal. So if I want to get rid of this times 2/3, I'm going to have to multiply this half of the equation by 3/2. That's the reciprocal. And I'm going to also have to multiply this side by 3/2, because that's the same thing I did on the left. When I do 3/2 times 2/3, look, 3 times 2 is 6, 2 times 3 is 6, 6 over 6 is 1. Those fractions go away, leaving me with just the plain old X on the left side of the equation. And on the right side of the equation, I've got 4 times 3/2. Well, how do I do that? 4 times 3/2. Remember, you might want to think of the 4 really as like a 4 over 1. So 4 over 1 times 3 over 2. Well, 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 2 is 2. So I've got 12 over 2. But what's 12 over 2? You can simplify that, can't you? You sure can. 12 over 2 is really 6. So kind of peeling away one step at a time, we've worked this all the way down to X is equal to 6. And now, if you wanted to check your work on this and see if this was really the number that Gladys started with, here's what you would do. Let's take 2/3 of 6. Do the work on the margin if you need to, but 2/3 of 6 is 4. Well, what's 4 minus 2? 4 minus 2 is 2. And if I take that 2 and I multiply by 8, what do we get? Sure enough, we get 16, which means this was the right number that actually worked in this equation, which means Gladys really did start with the number 6. And that means our answer is A. And if you got it, great thinking.